I just built this super good looking and good performing PC for only $329 and flipped it for my biggest profit yet. Let me show you how I built it. The motherboard that I went with for this build is the ASUS Prime B450MK, and the reason that I chose this was because it was the cheapest B450 motherboard that I could find. I found it on Amazon for 404.31 Danish krones, which is around $60. If you can find a good deal on a used motherboard locally, feel free to use that, but there were no good deals in my area. Now to put that into the motherboard, I got a Ryzen 5 3600 with a cooler on Facebook Marketplace. For 339 Danish krones, that's about $50. You can often find Ryzen 5 3600 or Ryzen 7 2700 for around that price, but don't pay more than $60. You can check for deals locally on eBay or on AliExpress. If you look for deals locally, wait for deals to come up and try to get them quick, because most PC flippers are using the CPU or similar CPUs. Next up is the RAM, and I went with this 2x8GB kit of Corsair Vengeance DDR4 3600. This is 16GB in total, and 3600 MHz is really fast. I got this for only 175 Danish krones on my local marketplace, which is around $25. You can normally find kits like these for $25 locally, or get really cheap brand new kits off Amazon for like $30 to $40. Where I live, getting a new kit isn't worth it, so that's why I got a used kit. For the SSD, I went with this 256GB M.2 SSD that I got locally for 95 Danish krones, which is around $15. You can easily find SSDs for around that price, or maybe a little bit more expensive. If you feel the need to, feel free to get a brand new drive. The drive was in good condition in Crystal Disk Info, and I knew that before buying it. The case I went with is this MARSGAMING MCSE case. That is the fish tank style, which looks awesome with these two pieces of glass. This case is super cheap and only 44 euros for my European viewers, or if you live in the US, you can get the Okino's Aqua 3. This is very similar to this and comes with 3 ARGB fans pre-installed, so you don't have to buy fans and install them. That case is a little under $60, which is a great price. If you want to know more about this case, check out my full review of it in the top right corner of your screen. I also installed 3 Thermalright fans for only 113.65 Danish krones, which is around $17. This is a great price for that. After installing the motherboard, I installed the power supply, and the one I went with is this Enomax Max Pro 2 that I got used for only 100 Danish krones. It has black cables, so no need for cable extensions, and sure, it isn't that high on the PSU tier list, but for the price I'm okay with that. Now for the GPU, I went with this Gigabyte GTX 1660. I think it looks super clean, and I also got a pretty good deal on it. I got it for only 500 Danish krones, which is around $70, and in my local market the cheapest GTX 1660 is currently listed for 800 Danish krones. This one was actually listed for 700 Danish krones I think, but I managed to talk him down to 500. Because it's newer than the 900 series and 10 series, more people will be interested since it's newer. Then I also put in an ARGB controller because the motherboard didn't have an ARGB header. That cost me 62.61 Danish krones, and this is the cheapest ARGB controller with a remote that I can find on Amazon. Now the build is done, so here's a price breakdown of this entire PC. In total it cost me 2,205.12 Danish krones, which is $328.78. That's a pretty good price for this system. Now let me show you the benchmarks and give it a value score. So I didn't get any footage of the testing, but in 3D Mark Time Spy I got a score of 5,601. This PC has almost the lowest 3D Mark Time Spy score per Danish krones out of all the PCs I've built. It got a score of 2.54. Compare that to the highest, which is 4.86, that's almost half the score. The only one that's lower is the one from episode 2. Anyways, let me show you what I sold it for. So, I sold it for 3,200 Danish krones or $475 in 2 days, and that gives me a profit of 994.88 Danish krones or $147.72. This is the best profit I've had on a flip so far. I think that this flip was really successful. Before I end this video, I want to know whether you guys want this style of content where I go over one build, or you want more of a vlog style videos like in the early episodes where I show you guys how I get deals, pick them up and build PCs. Let me know down in the comments below, and if you want to see more like this, check out the Building and Flipping PCs playlist and subscribe to my channel to see future episodes.